Hello everyone, this is the 2020 update to my Blu-ray collection. I'm just going to get started right away. This collection has grown substantially. This is the first new pickup that I have, American Pie Presents Bandcamp. Gotta rewatch this one. I like the main series. I'm not sure if I liked these sequels as much. Start off with my Funkos. There's Audrey Hepburn from Breakfast at Tiffany's, the two Bells, Beauty and the Beast, and Alexa Bliss. So I'm going to move things out of the way around in real time and then see if that works. Everything is really cluttered because I have a small space for all this, but I'm gonna try to do the best I can. So first I have the Audrey Hepburn 3-film collection, which has Breakfast at Tiffany's, Funny Face, and Sabrina. I love all films. She's probably my favorite actress actually, so I'm just happy to have anything from her, honestly. And that's why I have War and Peace. Not the greatest film. It's a bit long. Easy to lose focus in that one, but I have that. And then I have Avatar. I know this one came with an extra slip cover, but yeah, this film is a bit overrated. I'm not a big fan of this, but it just feels like something to have in the collection. I'm not excited for the 6 or 7 sequels or whatever is coming out for it. This is a new pickup that I also received yesterday, Jojo Rabbit. Saw this one in theaters and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I thought it was a great film. Really good blend of comedy and drama in this one. Love that one. Then I have Alien, the full 6-film collection. It has Alien, Alien 2, Alien 3, Resurrection, Prometheus, and Covenant. The first two are fantastic. 3 and 4, they're okay. I liked Prometheus. Thought it was ambitious. It looked really nice in the cinemas. Covenant, I didn't really like. But you want to have all of them in the collection, right? And then we have the Alfred Hitchcock Ultimate Collection. It's going to be hard to kind of read down everything that's in here, but this has a huge number of Alfred Hitchcock films. One of my favorite directors of all time. A lot of his films are very rewatchable. This has all the main films of his as well. I have some other titles of his that are just lingering around solo, so we'll get to those later. The Back to the Future 30th anniversary trilogy has all 3. I need to rewatch these, but obviously they're classics. I have the 3-film collection, M. Night Shyamalan's East Trail 177 trilogy, which has Glass, Split, and Unbreakable. I love Unbreakable, and I think Split was pretty good. Glass was a little disappointing, but it's good to just get the whole set while you can. I have this Wizard of Oz Steelbook. This one came out pretty recently. This is one of my favorite films of all time, probably in my top 10. It's such a classic. I had to update this edition a few times and then finally found a steelbook for it. So really like that one. This is also a fairly new update to the collection, Slumber Party Massacre Steelbook. Saw this a while back. I like the Steelbook, so I'm gonna rewatch this and see if I like it. I saw this one in theaters, The Art of Self-Defense. I thought this was fantastic. It's a real dark comedy, not exactly what you would expect from a film, but it's really great. Sleeping Beauty. I'm trying to get all the classic Disneys on Blu-ray, and then they had the Sleeping Beauty Steelbook, and it's a classic. They kind of re-updated it modern day with like a different tale with the Maleficent series, but it's a very nice steelbook. I like that one. The Twilight Zone complete original series. This series is fantastic. I love this. It has all 156 original episodes. This is a really good set if you're a fan of the show, and it's a worthy addition to the collection. Another worthy addition to the collection is the Before trilogy by Richard Linklater, Before Sunrise, Sunset, and Midnight. All 3 are fantastic. I can't really pick one. Something I need to rewatch, and that I will hopefully be rewatching soon. Yeah. So let me just move these out of the way, and then I'll carry on. The Virgin Suicides. I'm a big fan of Sofia Coppola. I think I have all of her films actually on Blu-ray. When this came out on Criterion, I knew I had to get it because I really, really like this film. Videodrome, David Cronenberg, another Criterion film. Love this film. I usually watch it around Halloween. David Cronenberg is also one of my favorite directors of all time. As you can tell, I love Audrey Hepburn. This is actually one of my favorite films from her, Wait Until Dark. It's a thriller, and she plays like a blind woman in it, getting robbed in real time. This is a really good film. Move these out of the way. Well, these are sort of in order. So there's X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past. I like both of these films. The way they went with the prequels and X-Men, I think it really worked. X-Men Apocalypse Steelbooks. The steelbook for this is really nice. Not such a great film, but you know, not the worst X-Men film after Dark Phoenix came out. I have that somewhere. I don't know where it is. Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks film. Probably the only Mel Brooks film I have in my collection, but this is Gene Wilder at its best. Zero Dark 30. Jessica Chastain. This is I really like this film. I think it deserved all the praise that it got. Zodiac, the director's cut on Steelbook. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, David Fincher films. This is, I also read the book as well. I'm a big fan of this, of Zodiac. We have a 4-pack, Wedding Crashers, Horrible Bosses, Hall Pass, and Dumb and Dumber. I got this mainly for Wedding Crashers, but I also like Horrible Bosses. Whiplash on Steelbook, one of the best films of whatever year it came out. I don't really remember what year it came out, but J.K. Simmons is fantastic in it, and I like music driven movies, so this was really good. I think it needed more love at the Academy Awards that year, but you know, they don't always get things right. The Wolf of Wall Street, Martin Scorsese, one of the best directors of all time. Leonardo DiCaprio is fantastic in this film. This is a one-time watch, however, because it is super long. Looks like I have 2 Wizard of Oz's. I gotta probably get rid of this one, probably sell it. Neat little horror film, Vacancy, with Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. I think the premise for this is really good. It's a fun film to watch. I think this is a Canadian edition of The Witch, the Steelbook. I love this film. Anya Taylor-Joy is actually one of my favorite actresses going today. I'm actually going to watch Emma later tonight, and I think she's fantastic in this. This is a slowly creeping horror film, but I love The Witch. I think it's fantastic. Underworld Collection. I only really like the first one, and I kind of like the second one, but mainly for the first one. But the Steelbook came out with all of them, so I just decided to get it. One of the So Bad It's Good. Actually, no, this is the original Wicker Man, which is really good. I like this one, the one with Christopher Lee. And then you had the 2006 update with Nicolas Cage, which was terrible, but in a So Bad It's Good way, so quotable. Nicolas Cage never changed, man. Steve McQueen's latest update to his filmography, Widows. I like this film. I only seen it once, but I need to see it again. Some really good performances all around. Widows, yeah, it's a good film. David Lynch is actually my favorite director of all time. When they released this one from Shout Select, Wild at Heart, I had to get it. Love this film. Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern. This is so good. One from the childhood. This is actually a digibook, so it's a really cool edition. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, Gene Wilder at his best. All right, so I'm gonna move some of this out of the way and then just continue. Okay. So this is the 5 films, Golden Age of Erotica, 5 years. I think there's 2 volumes of them. I have both of them here. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'm a big fan of Cloverfield, so this one was quite good. I hated the Cloverfield Paradox, but I think this was like a different, in the same universe, but different type of film. Thought it really worked. One of my favorite films of all time, 12 Angry Men. About 12 jurors. Having been on jury duty, I thought this was an amazing film. Definitely worth a rewatch. I'm a big Elle Fanning fan, so 20th Century Woman is one that I picked up. I really like the screenplay for this one. It has a good cast as well. This one is one to watch if you have not done so. I'm also a very big fan of it. Anna Kendrick, so A Simple Favor. It's a bit cheesy and such at times, but I thought it was a good Paul Feig film. A Simple Favor. 3 film collection, Van Wilder. Waiting and Adventureland. I got this mostly for Waiting and Van Wilder, both of which I like. Yeah, really, I think this is a good triple collection. I've seen Adventureland. I need to watch it again. I just realized this is actually a Ryan Reynolds triple feature then. Yeah. Classic 80s film, Adventures in Babysitting, with Elizabeth Sue, I think. Yes. I really like this film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a really, really well made film. Airplane and Airplane, the sequel. Airplane the sequel kind of treads the same ground that Airplane did, but I love Airplane. I think it's set the spoof films apart. Like it really laid the groundwork for them. Airplane is fantastic. The Diamond Edition of Aladdin, which I want to update to the new steelbook that came out, but this is a classic. Aladdin is yeah, love this film. I also really like the update. It's here somewhere. I just haven't alphabetized, so we'll get to it. The 60th anniversary of Alice in Wonderland. I really like the packaging of this one. I'm also a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland, the story. I've read the book. I like this Disney update, which is why I also have the Johnny Depp version, the live action one. I think this one wasn't too bad. Obviously they could be better. Same with the Through the Looking Glass. Not as good, but there's things in it I like. I like that world that is set. A digibook of All About Eve. I think I got this really cheap. Saw this in a film class. I think it's fantastic. Betty Davis is amazing in it. A UK edition of Almost Famous, extended edition. It works in this region, which is great because this is a really great film by Cameron Crowe. Very memorable. I love Almost Famous. I'm gonna love all these films because I have them in my collection. So Amadeus, the director's cut, really great film about Wolfgang Mozart. I need to watch this again. It's a Milos Forman film, but this is really great. I think I got this at a good price as well. The digibook. These digibooks look fantastic these days. There you go, fantastic film. Sam Mendes' American Beauty. Love this film. It's just so memorable. It deserves all the praise that it gets. We're gonna get into a few American titled films. American Honey, with Shia LaBeouf and Sasha Lane in her first film. Love this film. Think it's really, really good. It's not one that a lot of people have heard of, but Shia LaBeouf is fantastic in this. He's just a good actor all around. American Hustle, one of David O. Russell's films. I think it deserves the praise that it got. It's really well put together. Amy Adams is like very, very attractive in this film. I love this. American Psycho, one of the best Christian Bale performances ever. I also love the book. The book's a little more twisted than the movie, but American Psycho is a wonderful film. I love going back to this film over and over. I had Band Camp earlier, and I have the other 4 film collection: American Pie, American Pie 2, Wedding, and Reunion. All of them are pretty good, I would say. I'm not sure I have a favorite, but I think 3 might be the weakest in that 4 film. I have all of the MCU films, but I have not separated them the way other people do. But here is the the first Ant-Man steelbook. I like this film. Paul Rudd is a really charming actor. I think he's fantastic in Ant-Man. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, the steelbook. Yes, I like the sequel as well. It was a nice little departure from the serious tone of Avengers Infinity War. The Apartment, a classic film with Shirley MacLaine. I have not watched this in a while. Sorry, had a bit of a coughing fit there from talking so much, but sorry about that. I had a coughing fit from talking so much. The Apartment, which is a really good film. I've seen this once, but I thought it's a really well-made comedy film. I remember paying a lot for this one because it's very rare now. Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, I think his best directed film. I think this film is absolutely amazing. About the Native American tribes and kind of like sacrifice, the human sacrifice. This is a fantastic film. I love it. Another fantastic film, Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now. There's a Redux version which I don't think I've seen, and this is something that needs to be rewatched, but this is a really good steelbook. You'll see that I have a lot of steelbooks in my collection. I love steelbooks. Here's another steelbook, Arrival, Denis Villeneuve, I'm gonna mess up his name, so you know who I'm talking about. But Arrival came out on Steelbook. I thought this was a really good film. Amy Adams is fantastic in it. Very well acted. Very creative script as well. I loved Atomic Blonde. The Steelbook is also pretty nice. Charlize Theron's great in it. It's like a female John Wick, if you will. They made a few films kind of similar to this with a spy who kicks ass, but Atomic Blonde is great. The Avengers, the original Avengers, and then Age of Ultron. I like both of these films. Both of these releases are also really nice. Avengers is better than Age of Ultron, but the MCU, you know, you can pick and choose. They're all fantastic in a way. Everything's going out of order now. Not like anything is really in order. This is Infinity War, the Steelbook. A fantastic Steelbook right here. Really liked Infinity War. Loved Endgame as well. Endgame is here somewhere. I don't know where. Baby Driver, the Steelbook. Edgar Wright's best film, in my opinion. Ansel Elgort is great in this. Thought the music was great. The car driving, the action scenes in this were really great. I really like this release of Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy, with Jane Fonda. This is a okay film. It's not anything amazing, but the Steelbook itself was really worth a pickup. Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone. I think this is like a good kind of erotic thriller film. I have Basic Instinct too, believe it or not, somewhere. I don't know why, but I do. Guess I'm a completionist. Batman Begins. The original film in the Christopher Nolan trilogy that came out, Batman Begins, Steelbook. I like that film quite a bit. The Dark Knight, which is obviously fantastic because of this guy, Heath Ledger as the Joker. Really wonderful comic book film, one of the best ever. And I think a worthy sequel. A lot of people don't like Dark Knight Rises as much. I thought it was pretty good. I'm happy to have all three on Steelbook. If you're wondering, I do have the Batman collection, the original films, like the Tim Burton and Joe Schumacher ones. They're somewhere. I don't know where anything is. Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, Zack Snyder film. I didn't notice too much difference between the Ultimate Edition and the regular one, so I didn't care so much for the, you know, whatever extended stuff they had. But this is okay. It's not the greatest, but it introduced us to Wonder Woman, who I really like, actually. A lot of people don't like this film, but I loved it. Baywatch. But it just has a good cast. I think it was funny. I love Kelly Rohrbach. I actually met her a few times before she kind of went into film. Talked to her about this film as well. She's great. I like that film. The original Beauty and the Beast, my favorite Disney of all time. This is the... I think they're releasing steelbooks of this one recently. It's coming out, or whatever the case is. But I think I'm content with this edition right here, and I'll keep it the way it is. And then Beauty and the Beast, the steelbook of the live-action one with Emma Watson, which I liked almost as much as the original. I think it was a good adaptation. Disney's doing a good job with these adaptations, I would say. Bean the movie, Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson. This is fantastic. It's a good pickup. I rewatched it the other day. He's always funny. One of Tim Burton's weirdest films, Beetlejuice. I really like the steelbook. Michael Keaton is actually pretty good in this. Tim Burton's kind of hit and miss for me, but this one is one of the ones that I enjoy. And then I have a 4-film collection from Tim Burton: Beetlejuice again, Sleepy Hollow, Corpse Bride, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I have Beetlejuice and Sleepy Hollow separate, but Corpse Bride is one that's there, and I really mainly got this for the remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp, which I don't like that much, but I find myself going to it. This is not a bad 4-film collection to have anyways. Begin Again, one of the better modern day musical type films. The music in this is fantastic. I think the leading cast has so much chemistry. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the same director who did Sing Street, which I like even more. But Begin Again is so good. Sofia Coppola's The Beguiled, which is a remake. I love this film. Of course, I love Elle Fanning. I'm a big fan of Kirsten Dunst, and I love Sofia Coppola. The Beguiled, I've only seen it once, but I remember really liking it. Another film I really like, Bella de Jour. Catherine Deneuve is in this film. This is a really good Criterion release. Wonderful one to have. Big Eyes, another different type of Tim Burton film, different from what you would expect from him, but really well acted. It's more like a biopic type film, but I really love Big Eyes. I've seen this like 3 times already. Another one of my favorite films of all time by Darren Aronofsky, Black Swan. I love Natalie Portman in this. I love the story of this. I love the ballet sequences in this. This is a really good psychological thriller. I love the Blade Runner films. Ridley Scott's first one, the final cut. I don't know which version I've seen. It might not have been this one even, but Blade Runner is one to have in your collection no matter what. And then 2049 I've seen in theaters. I love this film. Ryan Gosling is one of my favorite actors. This film was so beautiful in the cinema, and the Steelbook is one of my favorite ones in the collection. More Sofia Coppola, The Bling Ring. I really like this film. This is based on the true story of I guess those kids who were stealing from celebrities, breaking into their homes and stuff and partying. Good film. I'm a big fan of Emma Watson and Sofia Coppola, so worth having. Blue Jasmine. I'm not a huge fan of Woody Allen films. However, Blue Jasmine was I'm not a fan of Woody Allen in general, but Blue Jasmine was really good. Kate Blanchett is so good in this. We deserved her Academy Award. Blue is the Warmest Color. This is a film with Lea Seydoux. I'm not gonna say the other name, but wonderful kind of like lesbian affair type film. Blue is the Warmest Color. So good. Very X-rated. Blue Valentine, another really wonderful film about relationships. This one is more depressing though. Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, both who are fantastic in it. I love this film so much. Alright, so I'm gonna take a little break and then get to the next row. Alright, so we're getting into the second row right now. Let's start with the Funkos. Start off with Chucky. I'm a huge Chucky fan. Let me see if I can show you this without knocking anything over. But I have two replica Chucky dolls. Actually, I have three. There's one hiding back here as well. Put a little hat on him. But I love Chucky. This is Lexa from The 100. Wonder Woman, Daenerys from Game of Thrones, and Supergirl. So let's get into this row. Let me just move these little guys out of the way. Okay, I guess I could start talking about the Child's Play collection, the Chucky collection. I'm a big fan of all of these films. Seed of Chucky, not so much, but I just love Chucky. I think it's a wonderful horror film, and this collection right here is fantastic. Love this a lot. All right, so then I have this Child's Play. I know I have it in the rest of the collection as well. However, this was the first one I bought. I like the cover, so I'm deciding to keep it. Cannibal Holocaust. I actually don't like this film very much. I think it's a little overrated and too much shock value and killing all the animals and stuff. But the release is really nice, I think. So I just have it in my collection. Oh man, this would have gone good with the original Creepshow. So I do have both Creepshows. So Creepshow 2, this Arrow release, I love it. I think it's a fantastic release. I don't like this one as much as the original Creepshow. However, this is a really nice release. A Church is one of my favorite bands. A cassette of one of their albums, Love Is Dead. I have really no use for it because it's I don't have a tape player, record, cassette player, but it's a nice little memorabilia. Die Hard collection has all 5 films. The 5th one is absolute shit, but the first 3 I like quite a bit. 4th one I thought was pretty decent. Captain America, the First Avenger Steelbook. I like these new Marvel Steelbooks that came out. Picked up a lot of titles that I didn't have when that happened. Captain America's good. I like that film. I like that series. I have the other ones somewhere. We'll get to them. Wonder Woman Steelbook. I like having this one on display with the Funkos. This is a really good film. The best in the DCEU. I do watch the show Supergirl. I don't love it. It's gone downhill. Not very good. But this second season had a nice kind of animated cover that matched that one. And I have the Funko, so I just bought it. It's a waste of money, really. I'm never going to watch it. Oh, here's one that is not a waste of money that I was starting to rewatch, although I lost track. The James Bond collection. This has all of them up to Spectre, I believe. Yeah. So this is really good to have in your collection. I love James Bond. I pretty much will make an excuse for any of the films. I really like James Bond. The new one, No Time to Die. I'm excited for it. I have like 4 of these somewhere. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, so this is like the deluxe edition of her album. This is not a Blu-ray. This is just like a deluxe CD. But yeah, I have Lover there. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo original trilogy. I really like these films. The first one is obviously the best. The second two is not too bad. I saw these extended versions only, but I like them. I like them a lot. One of my favorite films of all time, Phenomena. I watch this every Halloween because I love this film. Dario Argento's Phenomena. This is such a nice steelbook. I have Suspiria on steelbook as well, the original one, and those two I just watch every Halloween. All right, I'm just gonna move these out of the way and then hopefully get this done quick. Use some of these. This is the worst part of it, just moving things around. All right, let's start with this up row here. The Family. I got this really cheap, like probably $1, $2. I thought it was an okay film, not too bad. I liked Diana Agron in this film. You know, whatever. So, Amélie, a French film. I think it was nominated for a few Academy Awards. This is actually a really good, well-made film. I got this really cheap as well. Also, I did not even open it, so but I've seen it. It's a good film. Another one I got really cheap. I think this is the row of cheap buys for me. Phone Booth. Joel Schumacher's film, Colin Farrell. I rewatched this recently. It's still as good, still as intense as it ever was. I like this film. One of the best comedies I've seen in recent time. Game Night. This is so funny. Jason Bateman is so funny in this. Everything about this film is just so rewatchable. I really like this film. Another one I picked up pretty cheap, but I actually really like this film as well. Shakespeare in Love, Gwyneth Paltrow, what's his name? Joseph Fiennes. This is a really good film. I think it deserves the praise that it got. I know a lot of people were not happy with it winning everything that did. The Black Dahlia. I think I got this one pretty cheap as well. This is more of an interesting story than movie, but you know, for a 2006 type film, it's not too bad. One that I really liked, Annihilation, by the director of Ex Machina. I forgot his name, maybe Alex Garland, but a wonderful film. Natalie Portman is so good in it. I love the script for this. It's trippy. It's so creative though. One of the best South Korean films I've ever seen. I do have Parasite somewhere as well, so I do have that one, and I love that one as well. But Burning was so good. It has Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead. Oh my god, this film, I saw this in the cinemas. I was thinking about it for so long afterwards. If you like foreign cinema or just like good cinema in general, Burning, one to watch. Here's another one to watch as a guilty pleasure, Gods of Egypt. I actually really like this as a guilty pleasure. It's so stupid, it's so bad. Gerard Butler just chews the scenery, but I have a lot of guilty pleasure films that I own. Scary Movie, the only one that I will own just because it spoofs Scream, and I'm a big Scream fan, but I don't think much of these films, sorry. Showgirls, I think I picked this one up cheap. I don't mind Showgirls. Kind of like an erotic film. Kind of stupid plot, but not whatever. It's whatever. It is what it is. Nightcrawler, really good film with Jake Gyllenhaal in one of his most fantastic performances. This is a really good edition. I was happy to get this with a slipcover. I kept waiting to get it with a slipcover, but one I should rewatch. Probably the only Tyler Perry film I'll have in my collection, Acrimony, which I really like this film. Taraji P. Henson is good in it. I think it was just like a fun first time watch, seeing this film unfold the way it did. I like this film. One that I've seen a while ago, and I know I like, because I love Brian De Palma. He's actually one of my favorite directors. But Carlito's Way, I don't remember it too well, but it's one that I will rewatch, and I know I like it. I know it's gonna be a good addition in my collection because I like it. I will not pronounce his name, but the director of Call Me by Your Name first came out with A Bigger Splash, which is so good. I really like this film. Look at the cast; it's such a really good cast. I love Dakota Johnson as well. National Treasure. This is no, it's not a double pack. Okay, so the original National Treasure. I like this film. It's kind of stupid, but you know, Disney and Nicolas Cage, it works out for me. I actually very much dislike this film. I like Kevin Smith in general. I don't think I own a lot of his stuff, but Yoga Hosers is horrible. It has his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter. But yeah, this was just terrible. I don't know what they were thinking with this, and I actually don't know why I have that. Here's one that I really liked: Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. Kind of like a cult driven film with Elizabeth Olsen getting out of a cult and the effects that that's had on her. This is one a lot of people haven't heard of, but everybody knows Elizabeth Olsen, so just watch it. And there you go, Basic Instinct 2. Don't know why I have it. I think the release is just kind of nice. I like the slipcover. I have the first one. Completionist. Probably that's what it is. Gangs of New York, Martin Scorsese's film. I've seen this. I've rewatched it recently with Daniel Day-Lewis, who is fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz. I like Gangs of New York. Here's a questionable one in my collection, I guess. Aquamarine. I like this film because I really like Sarah Paxton and Emma Roberts. It's it's like a lighthearted mermaid film. Why not? You'll see that I like a bunch of different types of films. I don't really pick and choose genres. Say if I like it, I'll get it. Here's one that I liked, even though I don't like the release. I got this used. Probably came from a library, but High Rise is so good. Tom Hiddleston, the director of Free Fire, I believe is this one. This is so good. Watch this film. Another steelbook that I really like, Van Helsing, a good Halloween time film with Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. So this is The Dreamers. This is The Dreamers by Bernardo Bertolucci. I love this film. I love Eva Green, but this does not have a US release, so I had to get this from Germany or something, but it works fine here, so that's a plus. Poseidon, like kind of like everything just fell. Okay, so kind of like a disaster film based on in the water about a sinking ship. Poseidon, pretty good. Kind of cheesy type film. It's fine. Oh god, Pompeii. I don't really like this film, but I like Emily Browning. I kind of like disaster films. I like old times Italy, Roman, Greek type films. So there you go. That's why I have that one. It's not very good. Here's one that is quite good. Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson has a nice style to what he does. This has a wonderful cast. This is a really good film. There is a Criterion coming out. I don't know if I will get it though because I already have this. Then I'm fine with this release. Let me just move these out of the way and then we'll move on. So there's one I forgot there. I don't know why I forgot it. The Favorite. Fantastic film. I think Olivia Colman deserved her Academy Award for this. Emma Watson, Rachel Weisz is in this too. Really wonderful film. Period piece. Funny one as well. Okay. So let's start with this row. Big Trouble in Little China. This was a one of those new releases with these new slipcovers. John Carpenter, classic film. Kurt Russell. Black Panther. People say it is a little overrated, I think, but what it did for culturally and but in the box office was fantastic. I like this film. I have no problems with Black Panther. I love this film. Brian De Palma, body double from Twilight Time. This was, I think, a harder release to find as well. This is my favorite De Palma film. One of the best, one of my top 20 films for sure. I love that film. Another one I really like, Bonnie and Clyde. I've seen this a few times with Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty. This is a wonderful digibook release that was really cheap, and I knew I had to get it because I like this film so much. Paul Anderson film. I think it's Paul Thomas Anderson. Yes, P.T. Anderson. Boogie Nights. This is from England. I know they have releases here, but I was over there on vacation. I like this film. Worth picking up. I don't know what that was that just fell. Okay. Breakfast Club. Classic coming of age John Hughes film with a stellar cast. This is just a classic. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Now, I really like these films. Bring It On, with Kirsten Dunst, the original. I like cheerleading type films. This was one that I quite enjoy. And then the other one that I like is Bring It On, All or Nothing with Hayden Panettiere. Yeah, not as good, but it's still good. One of my favorite films in recent years is Brooklyn because I love Saoirse Ronan. She's one of my favorite actresses. I just recently read the book and I love the book as well, and I want to rewatch this movie, even though I've seen it like twice. I love this film. I hope she gets an Oscar one day. The Butterfly Effect, really good Ashton Kutcher film, probably his best performance maybe. And it has Amy Smart as well. Really interesting film about making changes. Butterfly Effect. Vincent Gallo film that I really like, Buffalo 66. I hated the Brown Bunny, but Buffalo 66 works for me as a road type film. Love that film. Another one I absolutely love, Call Me By Your Name. I've learned the Mysteries of Love, I think that song, on guitar and ukulele, so I really like this film. Timothy Chalamet kind of brought him into the spotlight, this one. This is not as good as I thought it once was. Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. They did a remake to it. I think all you need is the original. And then they did one, the remake basically, which is like a shot for shot, same thing, directed by Eli Roth. And I wonder why they even did that. I think it's directed by Eli Roth, or like he had a significant role in it. Winter Soldier. I don't have this one on Steelbook because I actually like this cover. With the Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes on there. I think this is one of those Walmart releases that I got later on, used. It's fine. I'm completely fine with that. One of the best MCU films. One of the hardest steelbooks for that. I went crazy trying to get this steelbook. I had it ordered to my house. It was broken. Then I had to go find another one in the store. It was a nightmare trying to get this one, but got it. One of my favorite films of all time, Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara, Carol. Rooney Mara is actually my favorite actress going today, even though she's not doing a whole lot at the moment. I love the book, Carol. I forgot what the book was called, by Patricia Highsmith. It wasn't called Carol initially, but I forgot what it was called. But I have that book. I love that book. And I love this film so much. This is one of my favorite films by Todd Haynes. One of my favorite films ever. Shot in such a wonderful way as well. One of my favorite Roman Polanski films, another one of my favorite directors, Carnage. It takes place in one room pretty much the whole time. It's not a very long film. Wonderful cast, wonderful premise. Oh my god. If you haven't seen Carnage, it plays out like a play, like a stage play. It's so good. Had to get Carrie on Steelbook. I don't really like the Steelbook cover so much, but you know, it's Carrie, it's a Steelbook, Brian De Palma. I like this film. I don't like the remake so much, but there's things about it that were pretty good. I mostly got this because it was cheap, and this is that lenticular cover with the blood, which I think is really nice, and it was really cheap. Casablanca, classic. I need to rewatch this again though. It's been a while. Same with Casino, Martin Scorsese film that I remember liking when I first saw it, but it's been a long time. So I have all the James Bonds, and then I have Casino Royale on Steelbook. I had to get this one on Steelbook because I think this is a nice Steelbook, and also it's a really good film. Kind of re-energized the Bond series with Daniel Craig. And I love Eva Green, so. Another Audrey Hepburn film, this one being a Criterion release. I love this film. Charade is fantastic. Just wonderful. She has chemistry with almost anyone that she works with. This, I was waiting for the Steelbook of this one, Children of Men. Yikes. Alfonso Cuarón is his name. The director for this one. Children of Men is so good. I love this film. Clive Owen, very creative film. Another Audrey Hepburn film that I love, The Children's Hour, which is a film kind of ahead of its time, talking about a lesbian affair. However, they never really outright say it because it's a much older film from I think like the 50s. But I like this film a lot. Two really great leading actresses. As you can tell, I love Audrey Hepburn so much. Roman Polanski's Chinatown on Steelbook. I love this film so much as well. Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, so good. Roman Polanski is just an excellent director. I watch this every Christmas, so every Christmas this will be coming out of the shelf. Christmas Story. I've watched this every Christmas since I was probably 8 years old. It's a wonderful film. I love this film so much. The live action Cinderella, which I really liked. Yeah, I thought it was a good adaptation. It was fun. Kenneth Branagh directed that one. I have the original one on Steelbook somewhere. It's coming up. It's definitely coming up. Click, one of the better Adam Sandler films. Comedy about being able to stop time and change the world environment around you with a remote. I thought it was creative. I thought it was unexpectedly really heartfelt. Adam Sandler was really good in Uncut Gems, which came out recently. I love that film. These are stuck together, but Cleopatra. I'm not crazy about this film. It is so long. Mostly the costume design is great. Elizabeth Taylor's good in it, but all the stuff that went along with this film is crazy. It was a cheap release, so I just got that. Closer, which I really like. The dialogues in this are very like memorable between these four actors in this film. Closer is a really good film. It's a Mike Nichols film. Watch that one. One of my favorite films of all time, which I should have in a better release, like a Steelbook or something, Cloverfield. I absolutely love this film. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. I love monster movies, and I think this was a really wonderful found footage way of showing it. I was so hyped for this, and it lived up completely to my expectations. An older Tim Curry film, Clue the movie. Love this film. I think it's funny. The twist is nice. You know, everything about this film is just good. Clueless, which I really like as well. Alicia Silverstone at her height. This was really good. It also has Paul Rudd, who still looks exactly the same. There's the original Creepshow. They should probably do a nicer release for this. Like they probably did, but you know, I'm fine with having this one. Creepshow. Some of the skits in this are really good. I like this one. One of my favorite Pixar films. Probably my. Actually, I don't know. I won't say anything yet. But Coco. I love this film. I love the Steelbook. When I saw this, I was blown away by how good it was. I love Coco so much. Coming to America, such a classic Eddie Murphy film, which is so memorable. There's so many memorable things going on in this. I saw this recently. They're making a sequel. Hope it's good. These sequels that come out years later, not always good though. Crimson Peak, Guillermo del Toro film, which is actually my favorite film because just the way the visuals in this film is fantastic. I love Crimson Peak so much. The Crow, kind of like a comic book revenge film with Brandon Lee. Obviously, it's tragic how Brandon Lee died in this, but this is it's a good film to watch. I have a Bad Girls double feature, Cruel Intentions, which I watched a long time ago, and I was rewatching recently, but I quit. I don't know, I just forgot about it. And then Wild Things. I got this mostly for Wild Things because, you know, it's a sexy film. A Cure for Wellness, a Gore Verbinski film, which is shot very well. It's a long film, but I think it is a really good film. I really enjoyed this film. Not everyone will like it, but I loved it. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Now, this is actually like it is a Criterion release technically, but it's like it came in a regular blue case, and I hated that it was Criterion but in a blue case. So then I just took one of my PS3 games with like that gray kind of like Criterion cover, and I just switched it so it looks like a Criterion now. I do like this film. It's a good David Fincher film. The Da Vinci Code, the only one in that Robert Langdon film series that I like from Ron Howard. Angels and Demons was a disappointment, same with Inferno, but I have Da Vinci Code. Dark City, which I quite like. This is the director of Gods of Egypt, which obviously I'm gonna blank on his name right now. I think Alex Proyer or something, but I like Dark City. It kind of dies down near the end, but not bad. One of my favorite Wes Andersons, Darjeeling Limited. Such a wonderful cast. He uses like the same actors over and over, but this one really works. The original Dawn of the Dead. This was a expensive release for me, I think, as well, but so worth it. I love this film. George Romero, fantastic film. I have the remake somewhere too, but I don't know where. The Deadpool 1 and 2 Steelbooks. Really good Ryan Reynolds films. They revitalized that character as well after it was terrible in X-Men Origins. The Departed, Goodfellas, and Aviator, a triple from Martin Scorsese feature. I got this mostly for the first two. I've seen Aviator, but it's been a long time. I love The Departed and Goodfellas. Both are so good. I think I should have a better edition of Goodfellas, but, you know, do what I can. Another double feature, a Rob Zombie one with Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. I like House of a Thousand Corpses a little better, but these are just like good Halloween time films. One of the best Alfred Hitchcock films ever, and I actually don't think it is in that box set, so I had to get this separately. Dial M for Murder. It's a 3D release for whatever reason, but this is so good. I love Dial M for Murder. Hitchcock used to do things that like no one can do it the way he did. Dirty Harry. This is a very nice digibook as well. I got this for dirt cheap. The only one I really like in the Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry series. One of the best films, portrayal of the worst film of all time. I love The Room. I have The Room on Blu-ray actually, so you'll see that later. But The Disaster Artist is so good. James Franco directed, and his brother's in it as well. The Disaster Artist is so good. District 9, Neil Blomkamp's the only Neil Blomkamp film I'll have in my collection, but I really like this because I'm a big sci-fi fan, sci-fi alien stuff, you know. Django Unchained, a really good Quentin Tarantino film. I've only seen it once just because it's so long, but I love Quentin Tarantino. I have everything by him. Double Indemnity, really good film, the golden age of Hollywood. And last release is one of my favorite directors of all time, Stanley Kubrick. I don't think this was in the box set that I have of him, which I'll show later, but that's had to get this separately, and it was really cheap. Digibook, got this one used. Why not? All right, so I'm gonna pack these things up and then go to the next row. All right, we're gonna go into the next row. This is Ygritte from Game of Thrones, Audrey Hepburn from Twin Peaks, and this shelf is really out of the place, so I'm just gonna take these one by one and just take them out. Picked this one up recently, Justine, which is kind of like an erotic film. Have not seen it yet. We'll see. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Picked this one up recently. Rewatched it recently. Not one of my favorites, but pretty cool Disney release. I watched this one recently as well, Little Mermaid. Picked this one up recently, pretty cheap. They're coming out with the live action. I like this. This is a good animated film. I have some CDs here, which I'll get out of the way. And then the new Terminator Dark Fate. I like this one. I think it's a better Terminator film than what we've had recently. And Arnold's back and Linda Hamilton was back. It's a good steelbook release. Piranha, kind of like a cheese type film. You know, I dig it. It's fine. I like these type of cheesy, like stupid type films. So. Maps to the Stars, David Cronenberg film. Not one of my favorites, but I do want to rewatch it because it has a good cast and I remember liking things about it. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Steelbook. I like this film. I like the first one as well. So, Zombieland Double Tap, which actually shocked me because it was a different type of. Actually, it was similar to the first one, but really good sequel. I think they did a really good thing with this film, and it worked for me so well. Sing Street, the film I was talking about earlier, from the director of Begin Again. Such a good film, such good music. Love it. It's heartfelt. It's funny. Everything about it is great. All right. So let me just move those out of the way. So over here I have the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. I am a big fan of the Beatles. I have whatever I can from them. This is a Criterion release. I love this album. Love the Beatles to death. So there's that. This Forever Maryland collection, which is pretty good. However, I don't like how big it is. It's like DVD size, even though it is Blu-ray. So it's kind of annoying to store. However, this one has Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, How to Marry a Millionaire, River of No Return, There's No Business Like Show Business, 7 Year Itch, Some Like It Hot, and The Misfits. I like the 7 Year Itch and Some Like It Hot quite a bit. It's a good release. More Beatles. 8 Days a Week, The Touring Years. Another one that I hate how big it is. It's so bulky. But this is the Ron Howard documentary about them when they toured. Love the Beatles. One of the best one of the better David Lynch efforts, Eraserhead. I had to get this on Criterion. Trippy film, but it's so good. I love David Lynch. Oh boy, everything is falling over. Okay. Coyote Ugly. Got this one recently. It's an okay type film. Saw this recently as well. It is what it is. Alice Sweet Alice. I really like this release. I think it's from Arrow, but it's a really nice release here. Really good horror film as well. One you could watch during Halloween. Speaking of good horror films, Halloween the Complete Collection, and then that Halloween remake on Steelbook. Love these films. Not all of them are great, but you know, first one is great. I like the Rob Zombie one. There's a whole bunch that I like in it. I'm a big fan of these. Big fan of slasher horrors in general. I'm also a fan of this Classic Monsters box set. It is huge. Get this out of the way. So, it is huge. It has the Invisible Man series, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Mummy, Phantom of the Opera, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman. I have not seen all of them. I've seen a select few. However, sometime, maybe this Halloween. It's 30 films, 31 days, right? And on the Apocalypse, I had to get this one in England because I don't know if there is a US release of this yet. Musical, like a horror Christmas themed musical, so creative. I really like this film quite a bit. The Superman 5 film collection. I got this one ordered from England as well. It works here though. It has all the films, the first four, and Superman Returns. I only like the first two really, but why not get the collection? Harry Potter 8 film collection. I like Harry Potter. I read all the books. All of them are pretty good. I don't like Deathly Hallows Part 2 so much, but the rest are just, classics in that type of film. Man with No Name trilogy, one of my first Blu-ray box sets that I got from England. Love this film. Sergio Leone's Western films are really, really great. This is not a great release, but this is all of the Jurassic World Park and World films, including Fallen Kingdom. I like the first one a lot. Second one is okay. Third, not so good. I like Jurassic World just fine. Fallen Kingdom, it's okay. Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures. This is all the films, all four. All four are pretty good. I like it. You have to suspend your belief a little bit for some of them, but a series that I really liked and I rewatched recently, Mission Impossible, the 6 film collection. This has Fallout as well, so I have all of them in this one. All of them are pretty good. 2 is probably the weakest, but there's things about it that I like. I'm gonna move all these out of the way and then get to the back. Okay, so let's start off up here. This is Bumblebee, which is the Transformers films, kind of like a prequel with Bumblebee coming here. I quite like this film. I think it's one of the best ones in their series. I don't mind a sequel if they do one. This is a more recent pickup. I think a lot of these are recent pickups actually. So 16 Candles, really good John Hughes film. Molly Ringwald, we watched this recently as well. Thought it was really good. Nice release, 35th anniversary release. One that I don't think a lot of people have heard of, but The Man from Earth. I think this is such a good provocative thinking type film about so much that goes on in the world. It is so creative. Man from Earth, and I have the sequel here somewhere too that a lot of people don't like, but I like. I don't know where it is, but that's one a lot of people have not heard of, which is fantastic. I had to get this abroad. This is probably a German release, who knows, but Dirty Girl, which I really like, with Juno Temple. I don't know why they don't have it here. Pretty good film. The Poison Ivy collection. I really like this release. I thought it was a nice looking release, and I've never seen the film, so I watched them one by one through this. I think the first one is the best, and the other three, maybe the second one is pretty good too, but the last one is terrible. Kind of a guilty pleasure right here. Two guilty pleasures: The Happening and Knowing. Knowing first is quite good. Decent Nicolas Cage film. The Happening is an M. Night Shyamalan film, which starts off okay and then takes a twist and just becomes horrible, but it's a guilty pleasure. Aquaman. Yeah, I like the Steelbook. Not a huge fan of this film. It looked nice. It's better, one of the better DCEU films, which isn't saying much, but the Steelbook is nice. This should go up there with all the rest of the Chucky films, so I have all of them. Cult of Chucky. I like the lenticular cover. Not a bad film. Vice, one of the best films of 2018, I think. Very well acted by Christian Bale. He kind of disappeared into that role as Dick Cheney. I love this film. I think it's really a really good film. Assassination Nation. Not crazy about this film. I've seen it twice. It's stylistic. It was a cheap buy, so that's pretty much why I got it. Not a lot of people know about that one, I don't think. Fighting with My Family. I like Florence Pugh. This is a movie about the WWE wrestler Paige. I'm not really into wrestling, but this film was good. Florence Pugh is good in it. I think she's blowing up at the right time right now. Don John, got this one really cheap. Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a directorial role. Pretty good movie about a guy with porn addiction, pretty much. Had to get this one abroad as well. Well, this one's from Germany. Raw, really good, kind of like a cannibalistic film. Yeah, that's worth a watch. So I have the original X-Men trilogy. It should be up there with the rest of the X-Men, but it is here. This has X-Men 1, 2, and 3, The Last Stand. I think the second one, X2 United, is really good. The other two, it's just nice to have the full collection. This was an expensive release for me. Existence. This is one of my favorite David Cronenberg films and one of my favorite films of all time. So creative, getting into a video game world. I love this film. I think it's fantastic. Another one I really enjoyed that split viewers because I don't think they understood it. Mother, Darren Aronofsky. It has a lot of biblical references, and you just have to be there for it to really understand it. But I think that's a good film. Why not? Another film that I really like, The Nice Guys. Got this one cheap. Finally got it with a slipcover as well. Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling. This is a really good film. Yeah, I like that one. Nice buddy cop Shane Black film that for me it works. I'm just trying to see, why isn't my camera clear? You know, I apologize if it's a little blurry. I don't know how to get this clear on this phone. Bridesmaids, really good comedy. Had to pick it up because of how funny it is. Really, one of the few Melissa McCarthy films that I like. I like Rose Byrne and Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph. It's a really funny film. I like that one. Gran Torino, a Clint Eastwood film, directed film. I think this should have got more awards love when it came out. It's a really good film, Clint Eastwood. There's the remake of Dawn of the Dead, one of the better Zack Snyder films as well. He doesn't have that many that are great, but that's not a bad remake. I know they are releasing this. They're releasing this on Criterion soon. However, I already got it from England, Wildlife, and it works perfectly. I rewatched it the other day. Paul Dano's directorial. I don't know if it was his debut, but he directed that film, and Zoe Kazan wrote it. I think it was good. Wildlife was really good. Really well liked it. Oh god, I have all the Toy Story films, but they are not in order. So Toy Story 2. Actually, I think I could get them in order. Just give me a second. Yes, okay. So, this is all of them. Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and Toy Story 4. I like these steelbook releases. I wish the fourth one kind of went in the theme of those, but I waited so long to pick these up. I don't know why, but when they were finally coming out on steelbook, I knew that was the time. That was the time to get it. And the steelbook that I really like, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think it's an excellent looking steelbook. Pretty good sequel to the 2014 version, but I like it. It's not bad. It has much more monster fighting in it than people complained about it. Little Godzilla, and now they got it with that one. I was trying to get the steelbook of this, but for whatever reason, it was like sold out at the time at Best Buy. So I got the regular edition. But I really like this film, Alita Battle Angel, one of the better Robert Rodriguez films. The steelbook is readily available now. I don't want any more though. I already bought this, so whatever. Lost Highway. When they were releasing this on Blu-ray, I was very excited. I love David Lynch. This is a trippy film that even sometimes I still don't think I understand, but I love it. There's a steelbook there of Shazam. A very fun DCEU film. I rewatched this again. It holds up pretty well. Knight of Cups. Yeah, I paid a lot for that one, it looks like. But Knight of Cups is a good film. It is a Terrence Malick film where he's being really experimental, but I like it. I like those films. It was a very loose script for that one. This one I got pretty cheap. Ingrid Goes West. I like this one because it's just so awkward. Elizabeth Olsen's in it, and what's his name again? O'Shea Jackson Jr. The original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, purely for nostalgic value. I love this film as a kid. Had to get it. When you rewatch it, it's still not bad. National Treasure, Book of Secrets. The first one is up there somewhere, as you've seen earlier. Nicolas Cage. I like this one better than the first one, I think. It's pure cheese, you know. A little bit. Andrew Lloyd Webber's Love Never Dies, which is the sequel to Phantom of the Opera. I actually bought this really cheap and wanted to sell it because I did not care for this. This isn't a movie. It's like a live Broadway, not Broadway, but like West End recording of the sequel to Phantom of the Opera on like live, like, you know, playing musical. But this one sucked. I hate this one. I did not like it at all. It was a disappointment to Phantom of the Opera, which I'm a big fan of. And that one I'm trying to get rid of, but I probably won't get much for it, so whatever. Captain Marvel Steelbook. I'm not a fan of the Steelbook that much, but I do like the movie. I thought the movie was good. Goose right here is incredible. Is that Goose? Yeah, it is. Okay. Double pack feature, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I rewatched recently. Like it. Dazed and Confused, which I need to rewatch. Yeah, it's a good double feature to have. Here is finally Cinderella, the original animated version, but a newer release on Steelbook, which is an excellent looking Steelbook, so I had to get that. And then this row right here, let's just get through it. Under the Silver Lake, David Robert Mitchell, the director of It Follows. Pretty good film. I like that one. I had to get the Criterion release of Blue Velvet. It's one of my favorite David Lynch films, and I think this release is just phenomenal. This is a phenomenal film itself. David Lynch is so good. Another Alfred Hitchcock film, Notorious. Got this one on Criterion too because I believe it's not in that box set. That's probably why I picked it up. But this is a really good film. Notorious is amazing. Mean Girls. Why not? I like this release with the pink case. It's a classic film actually nowadays. Pearl Harbor. I used to like this when I was younger. Michael Bay film. Nice disaster, but the romance is just like offsetting for this one. So let me get rid of some of these and then I will continue. All right, let's get to it. It's gonna be a little darker here, unfortunately. Let me try my best. The double feature of the newer Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Frankenstein I don't like too much. I do like that Dracula though. It's Francis Ford Coppola. It's creative. The imagery is really good in it. I know I have the box set, but I had to get this Dracula release. It's one of those with the nice slip covers. Yeah, this is a really nice release. Had to get that one. Dressed to Kill, Brian De Palma film. Love this film, like the twist in it. This is everything is just falling over. This is a good Criterion release. Dressed to Kill, I love that one. One of my favorite films of all time. Had to get it on Steelbook. Drive, such a memorable Nicholas Winding Refn film, he's actually one of my favorites. Ryan Gosling is great in this. Oh boy, this is tough to put in there. Dunkirk on Steelbook. I thought it was a creative way of telling a war film with the kicking time as well. Dunkirk, really good film by Christopher Nolan. Saw that one in IMAX. I think that's how you're supposed to see something like that. Another Steelbook, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Steven Spielberg at his finest, family-friendly type film. E.T. nice Steelbook. A film that I really love. A coming-of-age film, The Edge of 17 with Woody Harrelson and Haley Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld is tremendous in this film. Love that film. And then a kind of a similar type film, 8th Grade, another coming-of-age film with Elsie Fisher. A Bo Burnham film, really funny, really good, really realistic as well. Another Denis Villeneuve film, Enemy, Jake Gyllenhaal. I like this one. I wish it was a better release, but this is a trippy, kind of like thriller, psychological film. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet. This is a really memorable film, really good film. Rewatched it recently. One of my favorite comedies, Euro Trip. I thought it was very funny. I like the European adventures in this film. Yeah, really good film. I have the Steelbook of Evil Dead. I like this film enough. Sam Raimi's first film. I don't like Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness too much. I thought those got too like campy, and this one was pretty good. Ex Machina, one of my earlier Blu-ray film pickups. Ex Machina is really good. Alex Garland film. Yeah, I love this film. Alicia Vikander is fantastic in it. So creative. Things are about to fall over again. Okay, so The Exorcist. So hard to move here. Okay, The Exorcist, the original, and the director's cut and the original theatrical version. A really good horror film, I'd say. I don't think it's scary at all, but you know, for the way it was made, it's really great. And this is the Digibook release. I have Fantasia and Fantasia 2000. Had to pick this up just because in my mind it was like a rare release, and I found it in stores. Just got it. Pretty cool. It looks nice on screen. Fargo. I like the series as well. Joel and Ethan Coen's film. This is a nice Steelbook. I had the regular version of it, but then I just got rid of that. Got the Steelbook. Fargo is really good. Love that film. One of my other favorite films of Fatal Attraction. Michael Douglas, Glenn Close. Really good, kind of like a psycho thriller romance. Michael Douglas was in a lot of those type of films early on. Fast and Furious. The only Fast and Furious that I will own is the first one, when it was just about racing. That's all it was about. Now they're like taking over the world, international spies, all this. There's too much going on in those now. Too much for me. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the Bueller edition. Really good classic film about skipping school. The Fifth Element, which I really like. I think it's a really good sci-fi film. Very memorable. One I want to rewatch. I really like this release as well. Oh boy, here we go. So I have the 50 Shades series. So let me talk about these and why I own them. So this one was a black. The main reason I own these is I like Dakota Johnson. 50 Shades of Grey. The first one was a cheap Black Friday pickup. Once I got that, I got I think this is 50 Shades Darker. I like this one a little better. And I just picked it up. And then the last one is like trash. I don't really care about it. But completionist, right? Fight Club. I had like 3 different versions of this until I got rid of the others because the Steelbook came out. David Fincher. I don't think it's David Fincher's best, but Fight Club is pretty good. I like that film. One that I watch every Halloween, The Final Girls. This is such a creative, self-aware comedy about horror films. And Final Girls. Love this film so much. It's amazing. It's so rewatchable. The Florida Project. With Brooklyn Prince, Willem Dafoe, Sean Baker film, his follow-up to Tangerine. I love Florida Project. It's so good. Saw it in theaters, was blown away. Knew I had to pick that up. Another David Cronenberg film, The Fly. This is like one of those steelbooks like that Carrie one with that kind of art, the face art. This one is a better looking steelbook. Really good film. I like this film. Jeff Goldblum was good in it. Noah Baumbach's Frances Ha. I love this film. Greta Gerwig is fantastic in it. It's a nice Criterion release. I could rewatch that anytime. Frankenstein, which is supposed to be glow in the dark. I don't know if it does glow in the dark. I have this and the original Dracula in separate format on top of that box set, but this was like one of those Walmart releases. I like Frankenstein though. Frankenstein's a really good film. Boris Karloff one. Friday, film about guys hanging out. Really good film. I like Ice Cube in movies, and I think he paired well with Chris Tucker. The Funhouse, a pretty good 80s horror film. I like this release. I think there's a slipcover with it too, but I just don't have that one. I'm gonna move these to this side so then I can get through to the next portion. Just bear with me. All right, so The Funhouse, yeah, this is one of those reversible cover ones as well. I have the full Friday the 13th box set, which is somewhere. I'm curious where it actually... Okay, it's down there. Okay, so I do have that box set. Something else just fell. Okay, so I have that box set. And I have the Friday the 13th The Killer Cut, which is the 2009 version, which I thought was okay. Nightmare on Elm Street, which is the 2010 version of Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. I did not like that one that much, but I love Rooney Mara. That's why I have it. And Freddy vs. Jason. Why not get all 3? Because that Jason box set actually does not have all of the films. There's like Jason Goes to Hell's missing, Jason X is missing. A good war film with Brad Pitt, Fury. I think Shia LaBeouf is great in this as well. I think this is like the ugliest steelbook I have though. It's a terrible looking steelbook. But you know, I like the film. The Game on Criterion, another David Fincher film. I like The Game a lot. The ending kind of lets you down, but it's a good film. I also like this film quite a bit. Jordan Peele's Get Out, very creative film. I did not like Us as much as Get Out, but I think Get Out was quite great. Another great film with Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, who I love. I forgot the name of this director. I shouldn't, but I feel bad now that I forgot it. Yeah, his films are good though. And A Ghost Story was a good addition to that. He likes using Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. I love that film. I don't know why I forgot his name. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I love 1 and 2. I like 2 a lot because it's very nostalgic. I know 1 is better, but these 2 are good. I did not like the remake that much, and then the newer one that they're coming out with, Afterlife or whatever, doesn't look good to me. Ghost in the Shell. I like this film. I like this steelbook release as well. Scarlett Johansson, I think she's really good in it. It's a good film. Criterion release, Gilda, Rita Hayworth. I like this film also. Picked this up with Criterion Cell that they have at Barnes & Noble. Girl Next Door, wonderful film. Alicia Cuthbert she's very sexy. Unrated version. Great film. Another David Fincher film, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, with his special releases that his film comes out with in the packaging. Rooney Mara is great in this. Yeah, I love that film. I think it might be better than the original. I like the American update of it, really. The Godfather original trilogy, 1 and 2 are amazing. 3, not bad. This is something I do want to sit and rewatch again one time, but I think that's like the Sapphire edition or something. Oh no, the Coppola restoration. It's really good. Graduate, another film that's really good. I thought about the Criterion, but I was like, I'll just go cheap as long as I have it. fine. Really good film. Simon and Garfunkel soundtrack. Gravity, one of my favorite films of all time. Alfonso Cuarón. I love space films that are like pretty realistic, and I think Gravity is fairly realistic. A lot of people don't like this film. I thought it was amazing. I thought the one take in the beginning was amazing as well. All right, Great Gatsby, another film that I think is absolutely amazing. If I forgot, Baz Luhrmann is the director. I love this film so much. I love the book. I read the book. I love the whole Gatsby setting. Godzilla, got this one pretty cheap. This is the prequel to the King of Monsters film. Pretty good film. Godzilla, well acted, redone well. Gone Girl, David Fincher film, which is really good. I think Rosamund Pike in it is fantastic. The Grease Yearbook 40th Anniversary Edition, nice release. I watched this recently. I like it. It's a good film. Who doesn't like Grease? Greta, it's like a kind of like a cheesy type stalker type film with Chloe Grace Moretz and Isabelle Huppert. I got this mainly because of Micah Monroe, but I actually really like this film as well. And I love Micah Monroe. One of my favorite films of all time. I will give this a 10 out of 10 any day of the week. This is the Grindhouse double feature. I have two versions of this, and I'm going to keep both versions. This is Planet Terror and Death Proof, both of which I love immensely. I love the whole feel of that B-movie feel with the trailers and everything. And this is the Steelbook release, which I love as well. I'm never getting rid of those two. The Guest. As I say, I love Micah Monroe. This is a pretty good film for like the first half, and then it just gets weird. But it's a pretty good film, I guess. I have another version of Halloween. Didn't have the heart to get rid of this, even though I have like the box set. It's a nice release, that's why. And Hardcore Henry, first person like shooter type film, which I really commend it because it's a different type film for me anyways. I like it. All right, we finish this shelf. Let me just pack that up and then go to the next one. Getting down to it, these are the last three rows here. Let's start with here, the Funkos. This is from Clueless, Riverdale, Twin Peaks Funkos right here, another Riverdale, and Labyrinth. All right, so let me get these out of the way first. I hate when they fall over, but as you can see, I need a bigger shelf to just be able to manage all this. Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Love this movie. I think it's a fantastic David Lynch film. I love Twin Peaks so much. As you can see, I have that box set, the entire mystery. Let me move this other way. So I have the entire mystery, which is a wonderful looking box set, and then pretty good limited event series box set as well of the new season, the revival season. I love Twin Peaks so much. There's like, I could rewatch it anytime. Love it. Love the music. Love everything about it. Here's the Friday the 13th 8 movie collection, the first 8 films. It was a long time coming for this, but it does not have, the newer ones like Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X. Those are the two that I'm missing really in this collection. But I like Friday the 13th. Not my favorite slasher series, but it's there. Ad Astra, wonderful space film, which I thought was really realistic. Well, for what it gives you, it's quite realistic. I love the depiction of like Neptune and Uranus. This is like the first time in film where I've seen them like actually go that far and like try to keep it grounded in realism. I love Ad Astra, wonderful film. Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns. They had the steelbooks coming out, which were really cool. As you can see, these are very nice steelbooks. I like Returns a lot. Scanners, David Cronenberg film. Got this on Criterion. Love that film as well. I love this film so much. Olivia Cooke and Anya Taylor-Joy. These two are my two of my favorite actresses today, and then seeing them together in Thoroughbreds is amazing. I love both of them so much. I love this film. Labyrinth on steelbook. It's a pretty okay film, Jim Henson film. It's worth getting on steelbook, even though like the puppetry or like the effects are kind of dated. I'd say it's not a bad film to have. All right, let's start with up here. This is I think it's the first Iron Man. Iron Man, and then where's the other ones? Oh no, this is not. Is it the first one? I think this is the second one. Yeah, this is 2. Let me get the other ones here. That's the first one. There you go. So Iron Man 1, 2, and I have 3. You know what? There's a bunch of Marvel films here. I might as well just do it now. So I have all 3 Iron Mans. I have Thor: The Dark World and Thor. These 2 are pretty weak, I'd say, in the MCU. Although Ragnarok is great, and it's somewhere down there. Yeah, it is down there. And then Iron Man 3. I rewatched these all recently. It's okay. You gotta like if you have MCU and you're a collector, you gotta have all of MCU. So that's basically that. Speaking of MCU, might as well do this now too. Avengers Endgame. Fantastic conclusion, very emotional conclusion. Love this film, saw it like twice in theaters and then rewatched it at home. Another MCU of Spider-Man Far From Home. Really good follow-up to Avengers as well. Not my favorite Spider-Man films, but still something that works. I have another MCU right here, so it's Doctor Strange on Steelbook. When that one came out, had to get it. With these new Steelbooks that came out, I'm happy that they did because I did not have a lot of the MCU, so picking it up, picking it up was actually something that I needed to do. And when they released all of them, that was a good idea. On Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I have 2 somewhere. God knows where, but I do have it. So I'll get to that later. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 as well is there. Alright, so let me move these out of the way. Everything keeps falling over. This is like the worst ever. I'm just trying to do it as quickly as possible. Charlie's Angels. Okay, so Charlie's Angels, I'm a big fan of Charlie's Angels. So I have the complete series. I'll just move this now. So I have the complete series on Blu-ray because I love this, and this recently came out. I love the show so much. The first film was okay. It wasn't anything amazing. I wasn't blown away by it, but it was Charlie's Angels, so I have that one. The new one was pretty disappointing, but being that I like Charlie's Angels so much, I will probably pick it up. Right. The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson, really good Paul Thomas Anderson film. I think it deserved more praise than it got. It's kind of like about Scientology in a way, so that's a really good film. I like that film. Maleficent, this steelbook came out recently. I like Maleficent. I like Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, and I obviously like Elle Fanning a lot. As you're gonna see, I have so many Elle Fanning films. This is trash, Dark Phoenix. I absolutely hate this. Like, I think this is such a terrible X-Men film, and it was such a disappointing way to end a pretty decent series that had its moments, but that was just horrendous. See, I love Elle Fanning, so Teen Spirit, a film about her in a singing competition. I quite like this film. The music's pretty good. Yeah, not a lot of people know about that one. Another one with my favorite actresses, Olivia Cooke, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. Wonderful film, very heartfelt, very emotional. Love that film. It took me forever to get this because I was debating, because I only really like the first Saw, but this whole series was on sale. This has all of them, including Jigsaw, but I only really like the first one, to be honest. So like this was just like I don't know if it was a smart buy because I don't really care about the other ones, but it is the full series. It is a nice steelbook though, I'll give it that. Miss Doubtfire, this was pretty cheap. Classic film from childhood, Robin Williams. Why not? John Carpenter's Vampires. I really like this film. A nice John Carpenter film. Yeah, and this is a nice Scream Factory release as well. Sorry if my camera is blurry. I don't know how to fix the blurriness, unfortunately. Anna. Quite like this film. Sasha Luce, a new actress, kind of like a model actress who I think did a good job with this. Not a bad film. I wish I got the slipcover. Some editions have a slipcover, and I might just trade it in or something. Yesterday, I love the Beatles. I like this film by Danny Boyle. It's a creative film about like if nobody remembered the Beatles, like what would happen. And this guy just like tries to take the work as his own. Really good film. It's about a brown guy who plays music and likes the Beatles. I mean, this is like my life, right? The Big Lebowski. I'm not as big on this film as a lot of people are, but it's something you gotta have in your collection, and the steelbook is nice. Now, I like the Silent Hill series. I used to play it as a kid. I like this film quite a bit. The sequel was horrible though, but this is a very nice Scream Factory release, I think. Oh, this was hard to find, and it was very expensive. Actually, no, I got this really cheap. I don't know if the seller knew how much this was worth, but I got this pretty cheap. Dead Alive, which is a Peter Jackson film. It might be his first one, or like one of his first ones, also known as Brain Dead. This is so good. And I think this is one of my prized editions in my collection. Saw it in a film class, and I was blown away by how gory and funny it was. I like 1984, the book, a lot. So this release of 1984 on Criterion was something I had to get because I really like this film. I think it's John Hurt in this film. This is a really good adaptation of the book. And there is the remake of Aladdin, which is a very nice steelbook by Guy Ritchie, which is a different type of film for him. But I liked Aladdin. I liked Aladdin a lot. I think it could have been disappointing, but like Will Smith as Genie worked, everything worked. One that I know a lot of people won't know about because it is a foreign language film. I think it's a German film. So Never Look Away is so good. It's like 3 hours long, but it's absolutely amazing all the way through. Blew me away. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I loved it so much. Another film that I loved so much, Olivia Wilde's Booksmart, which I want to rewatch again. Very nice cast. I think Benny Fieldman and Kathleen Dever, I think is her name. She's from Justified. I remember that. But this is a really good film, really funny film. The Green Inferno, which was a nice collector's edition release on Scream Factory. Eli Roth's film. This is an okay film. It's not bad, but the release is nice. That's what. The new reimagining of Child's Play, which I actually did not like, but I got pretty cheap because I had like a discount, and it might have been for Black Friday as well. I can't remember, but I did not like this, even though I'm such a big Chucky fan. Another film I'm not crazy about, but I for some reason did pick up, Hustlers. Yeah, about the new film that came out last year. J-Lo's great in it, of course, but I thought the film was a little overrated. Here's one I don't think is overrated and I think should be nominated for like everything because Midsommar is fantastic. It's from the director Ari Aster of Hereditary. Hereditary is fantastic in and of itself, but Midsommar is fantastic. Florence Pugh is amazing. This is a 10 out of 10 film. The original Zombieland, I don't like it as much as the sequel. I should have got the matching steelbook, but you know, whatever. This was cheap. Picked it up just to complete that collection. One of my favorite films, actually Disney films of all time, is Lilo and Stitch. I love Stitch. Stitch is amazing. As you can see, I have the little light of Stitch. I have like I have that little glowing light of Stitch right there. Stitch is fantastic. Lilo and Stitch 2, not as good, but still quite good. He's one of the cutest characters Disney has ever made. Oh, one of the best horror films ever. I watch this every single year, spring. Such a good monster movie, monster love story. This was one of my only blind buy pickups. I don't normally do that because I want to be wise with what I buy, but Spring is amazing. Blinded by the Light, another good film. Bruce Springsteen, I'm a big Bruce fan, as you can see, poster up there. So yeah, Blinded by the Light is great. I'm not sure I know this actor. He might be new, but I think he did a good job in this. It's from the director of Bend It Like Beckham, which is a pretty good film as well. I'm also a big football/soccer fan, so that's something if it was on Blu-ray I probably would get. All right, let me move all this out of the way and just get to what we need to get to. 4-film Harold and Kumar collection primarily, and then there's Beer Fest, which I don't like that much, but the Harold and Kumar films, I like the first two quite a bit. First one is amazing, quotable, very relatable, one from my childhood. Christmas one, not so much, don't like that one. Hateful Eight, tried to get the steelbook. Obviously, the steelbook was crazy. It sold out like within 2 minutes. But Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight, long film, but really good, well acted, well dialogued as usual with Quentin Tarantino. This was a Canadian release, the Haunted Anthology, so I'll just go through what's in here. Blair Witch Project, Insidious, the first one, The Last Exorcism, 1408, and the others. I like Blair Witch Project, 1408, and the others quite a bit. Last Exorcism is not bad, neither is Insidious, so this Canadian release was absolutely worth it. Like, there's 5 horror films in there that I enjoy, so I already did Hateful Eight. Heat, this one came out quite recently, and I rewatched it quite recently. Michael Mann, fantastic film with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and the scene when they're in it together is just so good. Hellfest, kind of a nice horror Halloween film about being in an adventure park with a murderer on the loose. Pretty good film. You know I love the Beatles, I love Help, I love everything about the Beatles. This film is amazing. I love this film, I love this soundtrack. I will never not buy something that is Beatles. I love the Beatles. I also love Her. Really good Spike Jonze film with Joaquin Phoenix. I thought this was wonderful screenplay, wonderful score. Really smart script as well. I think this is something that could be possible in the very, 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 very near future. Oh my god. Okay. Let me put that there so I remember to put it back in. Okay. Hereditary. We were talking about Ari Aster earlier. Hereditary is fantastic horror film, blew me away. It's a different type of horror film, but it's unnerving. Toni Collette is fantastic in it. The Hills Have Eyes. I don't like this release so much. I hate these J-card releases that they just stuck on a regular version of it. but this is the remake as well because I think I might have the original Hills of. I don't know. Actually, honestly, I don't know. But this is the remake one. I like the remake one slightly. His Girl Friday, when this came out on Criterion, I had to get it. Saw this in a film class. Love it. Cary Grant, fantastic in it. Great script, great acting, great chemistry, all that. Had a few versions of Hocus Pocus until this fantastic steelbook version came out with the book. Sanderson Sisters, Hocus Pocus, Halloween classic. Every October 31st, I will watch this in Halloween without fail. Here's God, everything's sticking together. Okay, so the Hostel series, Hostel Part 1 and 2. Hostel 1 is good. Eli Roth, very gory, but 2 I don't care so much for, but you might as well get the double feature for it. Home Alone 2 movie collection. This is another one where I kept getting steelbook versions and single solo versions until the 2-film steelbook came out. Thought I would take space, just get this one. Both of them are good. I've never seen any of the other newer ones, whatever they made. I don't care for those. Double feature that I mostly got for The Hotspot. I like The Hotspot quite a bit. It has Jennifer Connelly in it. Killing Me Softly I've seen. I'm not crazy about it, but you know, when there's a good double feature, I'll do it. If you get an extra film, really. So one of my favorite, another one I watch in the month of October every single year because Ty West is such a good horror film director. This and Innkeepers are so good. The House of the Devil I'll watch every single year. I can't praise this film enough. This is like one of my favorite horror films of all time, probably top 3 at this point because I love it. If you haven't seen it, oh my god, I love that film. I have no shame. I love this film. How to Be Single, Dakota Johnson, Rebel Wilson, Alison Brie. Such a good film. I think it's funny. I think it's very relatable because it takes place in New York. I like that film. Another wonderful Audrey Hepburn film. Twilight Time really did a good job releasing all these Audrey Hepburn films. How to Steal a Million, like a kind of like a caper type film, and romance caper. Love that film as well. I'm messing up the order here. This is a strange film that I saw in theaters, but I love Elle Fanning, and I thought it was pretty cool. How to Talk to Girls at Parties. Really, it's like, kind of like a heartwarming type film. I like it. I like the release as well. It's a nice slipcover, nice release. I rewatched that as well. Thought it was still good. The Human Centipede. I don't know why I picked this up. The first one was kind of memorable but gross. And then the first sequence is the only one I would get. 2 and 3 are horrible. I think I don't care about those. Now I have the Hunger Games, all of them on the Best Buy Steelbooks. Catching Fire is the best. First one's okay. Catching Fire is the best one. Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 could have been one film. Should have been one film. I like the books enough, but this series was a letdown at some points. Even though Catching Fire, I would say, is a good film. Yeah. Double pack, I Spit on Your Grave 1 and 2. First one is a pretty good revenge type film. The remake, I've seen it, but I don't remember thinking anything of it, so I don't really care about that one. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh wait, everything's out of order. Okay, so yeah, so I have both. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Good 90s, kind of like slasher films. I like those films a lot. One that got me to really respect Margot Robbie as an actress is I, Tonya. Really good film about Tonya Harding. Yeah, I like this film. I like the way it's shot. I think she was fantastic in it. Get these out of the way. Inception on Steelbook. Wonderful Christopher Nolan film. One of his best ones. Really trippy, really creative. Another Quentin Tarantino film, Inglourious Bastards, about killing Nazis. This is a really good film. Brad Pitt. Another one from my other favorite directors, Inherent Vice. Got this one in England. Long film, a little trippy, a little hard to watch in one sitting, but it's Paul Thomas Anderson, stylish. The Coen brothers released Inside Llewyn Davis, which I really like. Kind of like Oscar Isaac's breakthrough film, I would say. Inside Llewyn Davis is great. Here's the other Ty West film that I was talking about, The Innkeepers, which is also fantastic. I love this film so much. Love it to death. Along with House of the Devil. Sarah Paxton's in this. This is one of my favorite. Every year I'll watch it. Interstellar. So I hated this when I first saw it in theaters because I was like nitpicking it, but then I rewatched this on a flight back from England once, and I got to appreciate it, and I thought this was a really well-made film. You know, it's a lot of heart, emotional intensity to it. One of the better Michael Bay films ever. The Island. I like this film quite a bit. I think it's creative. It's, if I was a director, that's like the type of plot I would have in a film. Inside Out. Really good, heartwarming, often sad Pixar film. I know they're releasing the steelbooks of all these films, but I like this lenticular cover, and I don't think I will be changing it. It's a good film, great film. Now we got Stephen King's It films. I'm starting to think that's, I don't know where some of my films are. Okay, because I do have It Chapter 2, but I don't know where it is. Okay, so Stephen King's It, the original Tim Curry special. I like this one. It's a classic one from my childhood. I really like this remake as well, the first one. The next one, It Chapter 2, was such a disappointment to me. I don't think I liked it that much. Yeah, it didn't hit the spot for me, but It Follows, really good film. David Robert Mitchell, Michael Monroe. Excellent film. Here's one that I liked much more than I thought I would. Jackie. I'm trying to open it because it has a nice inner part right there. Really well acted by Natalie Portman. I think she does a really good job with this film. Jackie Brown. A lot of people's least favorite Quentin Tarantino film, I guess, but it's still extremely good quality. I like this film. I think it's really good. Jaws, the only one I will own, but this is such a good horror film by Steven Spielberg. Jaws is fantastic. It scared me a little bit as a kid, honestly. Jennifer's Body. I'm trying to get a steelbook of this because I love Megan Fox. I don't really care what people say about her acting. I love Megan Fox. I love this film. This is a pretty good release, but there's a very nice steelbook of it, which I will update. In and of itself, the film isn't great, but Megan Fox, so hot. Jeepers Creepers, the first one is the only one that I'll own. I hate this J-card editions, but I don't want to spend so much on the Scream Factory for this because I already have this, so. But Jeepers Creepers is good. 2 is okay. 3 is horrible. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. JFK, long film that I've seen once, but I like these type of political, like based on real event type things, and this is about a conspiracy that, you know, people talk about to this day. That is a pretty good film. Another pretty good film is Joy, about the girl who invented the Miracle Mop. I like that release as well. I got this mainly because the release is nice, but Jennifer Lawrence is good in it. It's a good David O. Russell film. Jumanji, the first one with Robin Williams in this board game type release, which is fantastic. I like that film quite a bit, and I loved Welcome to the Jungle. I have no problems with Welcome to the Jungle. The Next Level, the new one that came out, was okay. It wasn't as good, not as funny. I don't think they should do anymore. Justice League, massive disappointment. In doses, I like this film mainly because of Wonder Woman. There's not a whole lot for this. This was like a mess, and DCEU in general is a mess. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. I'm happy to have these on Steelbook. Really good Quentin Tarantino films. Uma Thurman's fantastic in it. Very memorable. Another Steelbook. Well, 2. Alright, so let's do this. These things are sticking together. Knock Knock, which is a really good Keanu Reeves film. It's so stupid, but it has Ana de Armas and I forgot her name. Lorenza Izzo. Really good film. Kind of softcore, but the premise is funny. I love that film. King Kong, the Peter Jackson version, which I really like. It is long. Some parts aren't necessarily long, but this is a really well-made King Kong adaptation, I think. I don't like Skull Island so much, so I don't think I'll be ever getting that one, but I'm excited to get to see Godzilla vs. Kong. This is La Belle Noises. This was a Coen Film Collection release, The Beautiful Troublemaker. Pretty good film, directed by Jack Rivette. A French cinema film, pretty erotic film. Yeah, I have that in my collection. I forgot I had that one. LA Confidential, I picked up in England. Nice release, nice slipcover. Rewatched this, pretty good film. It still holds up well for me. 20th anniversary edition. And then the last 2 here are La La Land and Lady Bird. 2 films that I thought were very Oscar worthy. Lady Bird I love because Saoirse Ronan is fantastic in it. She's one of my favorite actresses. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone. La La Land, Damien Chazelle's one of his best films. Great musical. Love these 2. I don't like this release so much. For some reason I don't like this Steelbook. I think Walmart had the better release, but I'm like a Steelbook freak, so that's why I have that one. Alright, let's go to the second to last row now. Alright, time for the second to last row. We have here Alice from Alice in Wonderland, Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell, and then Lagertha. She's just rolling around. Lagertha from the Vikings one. Alright, so let's put those away for now. I might as well, while I'm here, show my Star Wars Funkos. So I have a few of those as well, just sitting near the TV. Alright, National Lampoon's Vacation, the Collection, a foreign version, but you know, these are pretty good films. I'd say they're pretty good. Paradise Hills, a more recent release that looks very nice on film. Nice female cast as well. I kind of liked it. It was a little disappointing at times. That's Cosima from Orphan Black. Move out of the way. Spartacus, the complete series. I love this series. This was a cheap release as well. Had to get it. The Beatles #1s singles on a Blu-ray. This is an immense set, and I love it. Has all the music videos as well and CDs. This is such a good release. Rome, which I really like as well. Have not rewatched it, but this is a really good HBO TV series. I don't always buy TV series, but when I do, I have to really like the show. You know, Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. I have three. I have 3 somewhere, even though I hate 3. But 1 and 2 were. I thought 1 was good, 2 was okay. I have the original Sin City somewhere as well. It's coming up, but Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, the Steelbook, which is a really good release. Looking release. It was a bit disappointing compared to the first one, but I thought there were things about it that were worth. Yellow Submarine, the Beatles film, animated film, which I love the soundtrack. My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn. The release is really nice. I'm not a big fan of this film, but you know, Audrey Hepburn. Heathers, I really like the Steelbook. Saw this one recently. Really good kind of click type film that became a cult classic. The Joker, Joaquin Phoenix absolutely deserves his Oscar for this one. I really like this film. Nice Joker origin story that really works. I already talked about the Charlie's Angels set right there. And then Predator, 3 movie collection. This is 1, 2, and Predators. I like 1 a lot. And then The Predator, which is also a really good... actually, no, this one I didn't like. Shane Black's newer film. Didn't like that one that much. Yeah. So I think things are a little darker down here, so it's going to be harder to do this. But hopefully I can just pull it up and you'll be able to see it in the light. John Wick, chapters 1, 2, and 3. What a wonderful series this is. Keanu Reeves kind of getting revitalized in these modern years. Such a fantastic one. Got this one actually like last week, Ratatouille. Really good Pixar film, really sweet film, really cute film, you know. There's it, chapter 2. Don't like this, just had to complete the series. I'm kind of glad it's over after this. This was horrible. I think, not horrible, but it was not good. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was good. Really good Quentin Tarantino film showing that he is fantastic. I'm happy Brad Pitt finally got an Oscar. This is a really good revisionist Manson type series. There's the other Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. I don't know why they didn't do Steelbook for this as well. Not a good film, but you know, I'm a Charlie's Angels fan, so I stick through it. The New Lion King, which I actually did not like this one so much. Too photorealistic. I can see what they were going for probably, but didn't work as good as I wanted it to. Once Upon a Time in the West, one of the best westerns of all time. Very, very good film. Very nice soundtrack as well. All right, here we go. Something just keeps falling always. Parasite. Wonderful South Korean film by Bong Joon-ho. Absolutely fantastic. Blew my mind away. Such a good film. Everyone needs to see that. 2012, disaster movie galore. Really fun film when it came out in theaters. I like it. Roland Emmerich. There's the Batman series, motion picture anthology. The first 4 films, Batman 1 and 2, great. I like the set. Batman Forever, nostalgic. I like that one. Batman and Robin, do not like that one. And then over here, as I said earlier, I have three other editions of Taylor Swift's Lover. You know, Dr. Sleep, a really good Stanley Kubrick update to his Stanley Kubrick's film. What's that called? The Shining. Yeah, I like this film, Dr. Sleep. I think it was done very well. Mike Flanagan, Red Rum. There's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This was one of my last MCU pickups. That's why it's like up 9 order. But had to get that one. And then one of my other last ones is Incredible Hulk. Got this one lenticular. This doesn't feel like an MCU film, but it is. So you gotta have it. All right, let's go through this shelf now. I'm gonna try to do this as soon as possible and try to make sure everything can be seen because it is dark down here, and I apologize for that. The Last House on the Left, this is the original one, and then I have the remake version with The Strangers and A Perfect Getaway. Perfect Getaway is okay. I think that's very predictable. I got this mostly for The Strangers, but being that it has Last House on the Left, you know, triple feature. The original one is better though. Flawless. Nice little Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf film. Nice steelbook as well. Legally Blonde 1 and 2. Reese Witherspoon at her very best. I like the first one. Second one, not so much. Leon the Professional, one of the first steelbooks that I got with young Natalie Portman. Really good film. Luke Besson film. Life of Pi, one of the best looking films I've ever seen. Such an amazing film by Ang Lee. This should have won Best Picture, I think, the year it came out. I love Life of Pi so much. The animated Lion King, which is very nostalgic. You know, I like Lion King from the childhood. I think the live action remake was a big miss, though. One of my favorite films ever, not just because it has Rooney Mara, but Lion has an incredible story about a little boy getting lost and then displaced. Lion is so amazing. What an amazing film. The Lobster, from the director of The Favorite, wonderful film, so creative, so darkly funny as well. The Lobster. The Lord of the Rings 3-film collection. I love this film. The theatrical release. I love these films. Yeah, I don't need the extended version. The theatrical is enough for me. But these are Peter Jackson at his finest. Another Sofia Coppola film, one that was very well praised. Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson in Lost in Translation. That's a classic, actually, at this point. Lost River, Ryan Gosling's film directing debut. Lost River is great. I love Lost River. Very Nicholas Winding Refn type film. Love in the Afternoon. One of the weaker Audrey Hepburn films, honestly, but it's a Billy Wilder film. I like it enough, to be honest. The Lure, a very sexy type monster / mermaid type film. That's a musical. It's a foreign musical. If you haven't seen The Lure, go for it. The Machinist. Christian Bale went to great lengths for this film. Got really skinny. It's a trippy film, but it's really well made. Another very well made film that I like was Justin Kurzel's Macbeth, which I really like the score. I love the book. It's my favorite Shakespeare, and I think this was a pretty decent, but more visually stunning adaptation of it. Going along with The Grindhouse is Machete. I got that for pretty cheap. Danny Trejo. I didn't like the sequel so much, but you know, it's there. This one got mailed to my house by mistake. I do watch Mad Men. I like Mad Men. I don't think I would ever own it, but this got mailed to me by mistake, so kept it. The final season part 2 of Mad Men. Mad Max Fury Road. Got this one pretty cheap. I have an unpopular opinion. I think this one is vastly overrated. It's not as good as people make it out to be. It's not like a second coming of film and whatever. It's the best Mad Max film, but I didn't care that much for this. It was a cheap Black Friday pickup. Magical Mystery Tour, The Beatles, love it. You know, great soundtrack, great music. Anything Beatles, I'm there. Mamma Mia 2-film collection. I like the first one. Second one was okay. I like ABBA's music. That's mainly why I have this. Yeah, I like the music of ABBA. So Mamma Mia. I forgot I had that though. The Man from Earth Holocene. So here's the second one that I was thinking about. The Man from Earth Holocene. A lot of people don't like that one as much, but I thought it was a decent sequel. I'm glad it got a sequel. Matrix Trilogy. The first one is great. Reloaded is okay. Very nostalgic. Revolutions, I still don't know what's going on. I gotta rewatch that. I'm not planning to anytime soon. Manchester by the Sea. Casey Affleck, Michelle Williams. Really good film. Introduced us to Lucas Hedges as well, which is great. Another Sofia Coppola release, which was I had to wait a little bit to get this one, but Marie Antoinette. Love that film. Love Kirsten Dunst. A classic from childhood, Matilda. Who doesn't like Matilda? It's a classic. Meet the Parents. Love this film. The awkwardness of this film is exactly what I would picture this scenario to be. It's so funny. So incredibly funny. One of the best films I've seen Kirsten Dunst in. Melancholia, Lars von Trier film. This is such a depressing but really well-made movie. Memento, Christopher Nolan's earlier film. This is a classic. Great premise. Very well written. The original, the complete Metropolis. So this is like a restored version of the entire film. Love this film. It's fantastic. I love that they were able to restore so much of it. This is so good. Another really good film that I got foreign, Midnight Cowboy from England. Really good Dustin Hoffman, John Voight film. One of the best performances from Kathy Bates is in Misery with James Caan. This is so good as well. Another Stephen King kind of adaptation, The Mist. The ending threw a lot of people off. A lot of people don't like the ending, but it's a good film. This is Frank Darabont before he made Walking Dead and before it got really, really terrible, that show. Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. Saw this one in a film class. Love it. I have a great love for cinema of any generation, really. Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut was Molly's Game. Really good film. Really edgy, kind of informative film about the poker scene, actually, which is different. I gotta move these out of the way because stuff is just breaking. Moon, Duncan Jones film with Sam Rockwell. I love Sam Rockwell. I've always loved Sam Rockwell. This is one of his great performances before he got really big, won Academy Awards and stuff. So, Moon, love that film. Love that sci-fi it sets up. Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. Annihilation is not that good. Mortal Kombat 1 is a guilty pleasure. Legacy, pretty good. What they were trying to do with that one. Update it a little bit. My favorite film of all time, I think, is Mulholland Drive, and I have 2 releases of this. This is an England release that does not work here, but I thought the release was fantastic, so I just got it, and I was like, I'll keep it. And then the great thing was they released it on Criterion later that year. I love this film. Mulholland Drive is my favorite film of all time. Watched it the first time in film class, and I hated it, but afterwards, I just loved it. That's the hallmark of a good film. My Bloody Valentine 3D. Pretty good modern day like slasher film. A remake of an original version. Naked Gun Trilogy. Leslie Nielsen is very funny. This film is hallmark him, really. Neon Demon. One of my other favorite films of all time. I have posters of this Neon Demon in a few places in my room. I love Neon Demon. I love Elle Fanning. Nicholas Winding Refn's just fantastic in that. Nerve. Another pretty good film. More stylistic than anything. Emma Roberts, Dave Franco, Nerve, kind of like a modern day teenager film. Night of the Living Dead. Once this came out on Criterion, I got rid of the version that I had. Classic George A. Romero. Every Halloween, Halloween months. This is something to watch. Along with this next one, the Nightmare on Elm Street series. All of them. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. Love Freddy. This has all 7 features. A lot of them are pretty good. I'll find excuses to watch any of them and defend them. This one I can defend so much. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I now have 2 copies of. But, yeah. No Country for Old Men, Joel and Ethan Coen. Really fantastic film. Honestly, yeah. I like this film a lot. The ending kind of threw people off, but it's good. Nocturnal Animals. Opening sequence is very weird. Be warned, but Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal, fantastic in this. Really good film by Tom Ford, the designer. Nurse 3D, a guilty pleasure with Paz de la Huerta. Every Halloween I'll watch this. It's like erotic type horror film. Speaking of erotic, I have Nymphomaniac Volume 1 and 2, the extended director's cut. Lars von Trier. This is just very erotic type film, but I like Lars von Trier. I like that film as well. Office Space, classic office type film, very funny. What more needs to be said about that? Mike Judge. Old Boy, got this one on. This is the original Old Boy. I don't like that new one with Elizabeth Olsen that much, but Old Boy, got this one. It works in this country. It's a steelbook. I got this in England, so I'm happy with that release. I'm also happy to have the extended director's cut of Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America. That's the only cut you need to watch because it's like the one that makes sense. Only God Forgives, another Nicholas Winding Refn. I like this one. A lot of people don't. Ryan Gosling's in it. Love that one. He's one of my favorite actors. The other guys, very, very good comedy with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. I think this comedy works in so many ways. Alright, these last 3 right here. Paris, Texas. Picked that one up recently. A Criterion film. Really good film. Pan, which is absolutely horrible. I hate this film. I think this was just like a major disappointment, but Rooney Mara is in it and I love her. And Oz the Great and Powerful. I like Wizard of Oz. I thought Oz the Great and Powerful was okay. Sam Raimi film. It worked in some stages. So now the last row I'm gonna get to in a moment. So final row. Hope you've all stuck around. If you have, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I know this quality of all this has sucked because I'm not very good at making these, but let's just power through and finish this, right? Suspiria, the remake. I like this film. I thought it was Dakota Johnson's good in it. It's a different type of Suspiria, not a lot like the first one, but it's really good. And here's the original one, which I love. I love the release of that one. I'm trying to show a little bit of it while I can with one hand. Look at this. Fantastic release. Love that film. Every Halloween month I'll watch that. Stanley Kubrick's visionary filmmaker. This is actually one of my first Blu-rays that I got in England. This has Lolita, which I love. Read the book as well. 2001 Space Odyssey, absolute classic in the Marvel in the sci-fi genre. Clockwork Orange, which I love. Read the book as well. Barry Lyndon, I also love that one. Love The Shining. Love Full Metal Jacket. Love Eyes Wide Shut. All of them. Stanley Kubrick, fantastic director. This box set is amazing and a must-have. I think they have a US release now, but that one works here, so why not? Terrence Malick's Tree of Life, which I absolutely love. Very experimental, but absolutely visually stunning. Love the story. Love the way it's portrayed. Tree of Life I had the regular version, but I got the Criterion because there's more to this one. There's like a different cut, I think, and it has like more in it, but I have not seen it yet. The extended cut or whatever. Terminator Anthology. I love Terminator so much. I have some steelbooks here of Terminator. Let me move them out of the way. So I have Genesis, which absolutely is crap, but I'm a completionist. This is complete shit. I hate this one. Judgment Day is my favorite. I love Terminator 2. Judgment Day. Had to get the steelbook because look at that. That is fantastic. And the anthology. So this has Terminator 3 as well and Salvation. Salvation was ambitious, but it worked for me. It's fine. Okay. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original on steelbook. I quite like this steelbook, so I had to pick it up. And Thor Ragnarok, also on steelbook. One of the better Taika Waititi's update to Thor. Very funny. This one works very well. The Rocky films, all the Heavyweight Collection, or the Ultimate Heavyweight Collection. And 2 versions of Tomb Raider. So there's the original one that I have. This one is from England, so it doesn't work here, but it is a steelbook that absolutely is fantastic. So I got this one in England. Just ignore the phone that's ringing. Tomb Raider. I have to keep this one because this one does not work, but it is a nicer cover. And then I haven't had the heart to just switch out the disc and just get rid of this. I don't know why. It's different covers, that's why. I love Tomb Raider, Alicia Vikander ones anyways. Start from the top. So the Star Wars films. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I have an R2-D2 right there, as you can see. Let me start from the beginning. Okay, so Phantom Menace. These are all the steelbooks. Phantom Menace, like it. Attack of the Clones, probably the worst one in the bunch, but still we'll make excuses for it. Revenge of the Sith, not bad. Anakin becoming Darth Vader in that one. Let me see where the rest of the Star Wars are. They're like all over. Everything is all over the place here. I have all the Star Wars in steelbook, and I pre-ordered the Rise of Skywalker, which I thought wasn't bad. Okay, so A New Hope, the original first, the 4th episode, but the first one that was released. That one's great. Empire Strikes Back, a lot of people's favorites. Fantastic film. And my favorite, however, is Return of the Jedi. Yes, sorry about that. But this is fantastic. I like The Force Awakens a lot. I like Daisy Ridley a lot. I have a cardboard cutout if you can see it there. Yeah, Star Wars, The Force Awakens is fantastic. I have this Target release, which I actually hate. It's like too thin. That's why I didn't go with the Target releases. The steelbooks work just way better for me. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, prequel to Star Wars, which works as well. The Last Jedi, a lot of people had problems with Rian Johnson's film here. I did not, and I really like the steelbook. I like this film. I'm a Star Wars apologist. I'll do anything Star Wars. And Solo, a Star Wars story, fantastic film. Not fantastic film, but like a good kind of Ron Howard type film. Didn't do well in the box office, but I like it. So I have the Star Trek series, all on steelbook. Star Trek Into Darkness and Beyond. Beyond I didn't like as much, but these 3 are pretty good, like J.J. Abrams type films. Spring Breakers, I hated this when I first saw it, but when I rewatched it, Harmony Korine's film, Spring Breakers, hot girls, spring breaking, why not? There's Spider-Man Homecoming, another MCU. That might be the last of the MCU, who knows? There's probably something coming up. The original Spider-Man trilogy, I like this one. I like all 3. I even like the 3rd one. I don't really care what people say. I like that one. Straight Outta Compton, nice biopic of NWA. It loses steam at the end, but still fantastic. My battery's about to die, that's why I'm going quicker. Stoker, Mia Wasikowska. This was a cheap release that I bought at like Walgreens or some Dollar Tree, who knows. But I like that film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake with Jessica Biel. I like that one. This one I can get rid of now because I have the other one, and I will put it aside because I will get rid of it. 10 Commandments, Cecil B. DeMille's kind of like epic about Moses. It's a really good film. I like that film. I like those films like that. So I am a Taylor Swift fan, as you know. So I have Journey to Fearless, kind of like a documentary of her in that time, during that album, and then the Speak Now World Tour with CD and Blu-ray. I like these quite a bit. She has these films on Netflix as well, Miss Americana and the Reputation World Tour. I love anything Taylor Swift. If they were to release those on Blu-ray, that'd be fantastic, just so I could complete everything there. Taxi Driver Steelbook, a wonderful looking steelbook of Martin Scorsese's, one of his best films. I love this film. Another film that I love, Take Me Home Tonight. Really good soundtrack, really good feeling for this film. I like this film quite a bit. Suicide Squad, absolutely horrendous. I wanted to just return this Blu-ray, the Steelbook. This is terrible. I hate this film. Birds of Prey was better, but I wasn't crazy about that either. Another pretty terrible Zack Snyder film, which has a nice soundtrack, so I have this one. Sucker Punch is just... Yeah. Danny Boyle's Sunshine, which is tremendous. I love this film. This is one of the best, space type films. It kind of gets weird at the end, but I think this is amazing. It's very memorable. Sunset Boulevard, classic, William Holden, Gloria Swanson. This is a typical Hollywood film of the 50s that is just tremendous. The Truman Show, another tremendous film. Just everything about this film is like real. I always think is real life like this, like where you're being taped and people are watching. I mean, Troll 1 and 2. Troll 1 is a decent type horror film. Troll 2 is just so bad it's good. Like one of the worst films of all time. One of the worst acted. That's why I have it. I love it. I love those type of films, as you can tell. Looks like a few steelbooks of Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and Transformers. All these Transformers steelbooks. Transformers, these are the only three that I like. They're kind of stupid at times, but the other two, Age of Extinction and Last Night, I don't care for at all. I will never get them. The Town, really good Ben Affleck film. I think it deserves more praise than it gets. Really good film, heist type film. The original Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, such a classic with Sharon Stone as well. Of course, everyone needs Titanic in their collection. Love that film, very memorable. It was a sensation when it first came out. And The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. This came with a nice poster as well. Alright, I'm gonna get through this right now. Let's start with this. Phantom of the Opera at Royal Albert Hall. I love Phantom of the Opera, so I have the remake with the kind of like the film adaptation of it, which is such good music. This is also tremendous. Always get chills watching this. I love Phantom of the Opera. I've seen it once on Broadway here and once on West End in England. Love it. Brian De Palma film, erotic film, Passion. I like the red case on this, but I also like this film. Brian De Palma is just fantastic. Perks of Being a Wallflower, Emma Watson, nice coming of age story. Have no problems with that. Personal Shopper, Kristen Stewart is great in this. I think she's a good actress when she needs to be, and Personal Shopper is fantastic. Phantom Thread, Daniel Day-Lewis's last film. He's tremendous in this film all around. This is just such a memorable film. I want to watch it again. Pitch Perfect 3, don't like this one at all really, just a completionist, so I had to complete it. Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. This is such a stupid like B movie release, like kind of like horror, comedy, sex kind of thing. The Prestige, one of Nolan's best films of all time, probably might be his best. Love this film. When I saw it in cinemas, I was amazed by it. I like magic, so. Pretty Woman, one of the better romantic type films of all time. Richard Gere, Julia Roberts, of course, Pretty Woman. I love that film. And I also love Princess Bride. I was thinking about getting a better edition of this, like a Criterion, but this is, for now, this will do. I like that one. Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino at his very best. Incredible dialogue, incredible film, incredible all around. Reanimator, another incredible horror film. I like this film. It's a Lovecraftian film. Reanimator is amazing. The Reader is great, mostly because Kate Winslet like naked half of the time, but she's actually tremendous in this. This is actually a pretty good film. Sorry, the video keeps cutting off because I keep pressing things, but here we go. Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg film. I like this film. Some people had problems with it, but I thought it was ambitious. I like what they did there. Requiem for a Dream, Darren Aronofsky's original drug tale. This is tremendous. Soundtrack score is tremendous. This is just a scary, eye-opening film. Red Spiral on Steelbook. I like Jennifer Lawrence in this. This is kind of like Atomic Blonde, but more serious, I would say. Red Spiral. Not a bad film at all. Rebecca. I don't think this is in the Hitchcock collection as well. Saw this recently. Loved it. Criterion release. That's a really good film. Another really good film, Roman Polanski's Repulsion with Catherine Deneuve. Tremendous film. All around Repulsion, like a thriller type film. Reservoir Dogs, I don't know what this is, but Reservoir Dogs in the Mondo release. I had to update this a few times as well, but finally the Mondo release was great. Quentin Tarantino's first film. He's tremendous. I have everything from him. Resident Evil Collection, I only like 1 and 2. The rest is just I played 2 and Nemesis as a kid, so the Steelbook was worth getting for that. Road Trip, pretty good comedy, raunchy comedy of the time, the 90s, the 2000s. Todd Phillips right there. Rope, an immense film I've seen in film class. This is in that box set for Hitchcock, but I had to get this separately because Rope is modernized that long take, and Hitchcock is just tremendous in that filmmaking wise. The Room, I told you I had The Room. Had to get this. Tommy Wiseau, this is so bad it's good, but it's actually absolutely incredible because it is that bad. So quotable. Rosemary's Baby, Roman Polanski film. Really good film. Roman Polanski with I think it's Mia Farrow. Yeah, no, it's not Mia Farrow. Is it Mia Farrow? What's her name? Yeah, it's Mia Farrow. Sorry. Yeah, wonderful film. Love that film. It's unnerving. Royal Tenenbaums, my favorite Wes Anderson film. I think Gwyneth Paltrow is great in this. I think this is just fantastic. He's great in everything. I want to get I Love Dogs. I just don't have it yet. The Runaways. I know a lot of Joan Jett on guitar. Like, there's a few songs that I know by her on guitar. I need to rewatch this film actually, but I got this mostly because Dakota Fanning, and I thought the film was okay. Soundtrack's pretty good. Running Scared, Paul Walker film. A lot of F-bombs in this film. Really good thriller, but so many F-bombs. Probably the most I've ever heard in a film. Rush Hour Trilogy, not much needs to be said about this. This is tremendous. I love all 3 films. Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan. If they made a 4, I'd be down. Safe, wonderful film I've seen in film class. I haven't heard of it before that, but Todd Haynes getting his start. I don't know if it's his first film, but this is a tremendous Todd Haynes film. It is kind of unnerving. Safe is amazing. Julianne Moore is fantastic in it. Saving Private Ryan, one of the best war films of all time. Steven Spielberg, very acclimated film, and it should be because this is a wonderful war film. I'm in a mess of Blu-rays here, you see. Scarface Steelbook. I got this one used. It has a scratch on there. I don't know, maybe someone did coke off of there, who knows, but Scarface limited edition. Brian De Palma is great. Love those. Love that film. So I have Scream, all of them. Scream 4, Scream 3. I'm doing this out of order, I know. Scream 2 and Scream. They have a set of the first 3 films without the 4th. That's why I have them separately, because I didn't want to get that and just have 4. I just bought them at different times, and I just have them like that. Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg film, very emotional film, very hard to watch at times, but I got this one 4 edition. I know there's better editions, but whatever. Secret World of Ariadne. I like this film. It's not directed by Hayao Miyazaki, but it is Studio Ghibli film. I like this film so much. I want to watch the other ones, but they've been released in other countries on Netflix, not here, which is so annoying because I want to watch. There's so many of them that I want to watch. Secretary, kind of like an erotic film with Maggie Gyllenhaal. I like her. I'm a big fan of her, so I have no problems with that. Seven, which is a really good David Fincher film. Not his best, I don't think. I think Zodiac is his best. However, this is a really nice digibook, and it is still a tremendous film. Another tremendous film, I think, is The Shallows, which is a good shark thriller. And I like the lenticular of it. But Blake Lively showed that she has acting chops in that one. One of the best Steve McQueen film is Shame, about Michael Fassbender, who has a sex addiction in that film. It's brilliant. That is a brilliant film. Another brilliant film on Digibook, Shawshank Redemption. I forgot that I had this actually, but this is a really good film. I've seen it 2-3 times. Love it. Another really good Martin Scorsese film that doesn't get talked about as much is Shutter Island. Leonardo DiCaprio, wonderful film, just so well acted. I'm gonna have to reorder all this now. I'm thinking about it. Side Effects. Rooney Mara is the main reason I got this, but Steven Soderbergh is great in it. Nice little twist in it as well. I like this film quite a bit. Signs, M. Night Shyamalan, not a bad film at all. I think the twist is kind of stupid, but alien film. M. Night Shyamalan at his peak. Silence of the Lambs, really good film. Jodie Foster is great in it. Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Silver Linings Playbook. Jennifer Lawrence won the Oscar for this one, and it's a David O. Russell film. I really like this film. I think it's really great. It's sweet, Single White Female, picked this up recently with Bridget Fonda, Jennifer Jason Leigh. Love this film. I like Jennifer Jason Leigh in this film quite a bit. There's The First Sin City. This is a foreign release. The reason I got this is that red case. It works here, obviously. Robert Rodriguez is great. in that it's stylistic comic book Frank Miller Simpsons movie. I love The Simpsons, even though the show has gone downhill. I've seen every episode, and I think this movie was really good. If you like Simpsons, you should have it. Sisters, a really good Brian De Palma film, really trippy. I watched this last Halloween as well, and the year before. I like that one. Had to get this one from England. Sleeping Beauty. Emily Browning is so hot in this. It's a very weird film. I don't know if I'd recommend it for everybody, but it works here, and I love Emily Browning. Sleepy Hollow Steelbook. I think this is a really good steelbook, even though I have like this in a 4-pack. Sleepy Hollow. Yes, picked this one up recently. I love that film. That's probably my favorite Tim Burton films. And now we're finishing off with Species. Yeah, I got this one really cheap. I think her name is Natasha Henstridge, but she's pretty sexy in this. This is a nice little sci-fi film. Song to Song, Terrence Malick film with Rooney Mara and Natalie Portman. So obviously I had to get it, and Ryan Gosling and Michael Fassbender. This is a tremendous cast, tremendous film. I love this film. Another Sofia Coppola film, Somewhere, with Elle Fanning when she's younger. But this is a really good film, very memorable. I like Sofia Coppola so much. Last but definitely not least is David Fincher's Social Network, which is a weird packaging, but Social Network is amazing. Deserves all the praise that it gets. And that is it. That was the entire Blu-ray collection. I'm gonna try to put all this together, put it into one video at least. And thank you for watching. We'll have an update again next year. And give me your comments if you think my collection was good. If there's any titles, any questions that you have, I'd love to, talk film. Thank you.